Welcome to the Kingdom Culture Podcast that was created on purpose with a purpose to empower, uplift, and guide others to the center of God's perfect will. Kingdom Culture family, welcome back to the Kingdom Culture Podcast. This week I wanted to share something that I was doing and what happened with it, right? So every 3 months or so, I check in with myself. I check in my finances. I check in my business. I check in on, the things that I'm learning, if I'm actually applying them. I check in all of the areas of my life, whether that be, also my marriage, the way that I'm showing up as a mother, a friend, everything else. And so this past week, I was checking in with myself on my fitness journey. So I am doing a 75 hard challenge, which you guys will get to know about later because I'm going to be posting little snippets of it later. But yeah, I'm doing a 75 hard challenge, and I told myself, I'm like, okay, cool. June to August, what can I do here for my fitness? And I'm a numbers girly, so I love to be very specific, have specific numbers assigned to everything that I'm trying to do, because that way I have the exact goal at the exact time that I need it, and so I can keep track. And so I told myself, I'm like, okay, good. 3 months, I can probably lose 10 to 15 pounds. I can probably have this percentage of body mass versus fat versus my muscle mass. And so I have all of that written down, and I told myself I'm going to work out 5 times a week for an hour and a half to 2 hours, and that's going to be every day. That's my morning routine to work out, right? And then I got in front of the mirror, and so when I got in front of the mirror, I went strictly to a negative thought. I said, wow, you've been working out so hard. You have been working out for a long time, and you're still not where you need to be. You're still not how you want to look. And the beautiful thing about that is that I've trained myself to catch it and realize, like, oh, wow, I'm thinking something negative. And so when I thought that, I was like, but wait, you don't actually have a picture of a person that you want to look like. So you comparing your body instead of looking at your numbers and like taking the time to dive deeper into that, it's not making sense. So, I was body shaming myself because I thought I wasn't making progress, when in reality, I feel better. My anxiety is down. My depression is down. I don't stress out as much. I wake up with so much more energy. I'm more flexible. I can walk for a very long time now. My back doesn't hurt. My leg doesn't hurt as much. And so all of these other positive things, but as soon as I seen in the mirror, my body automatically went to the negative thought. And I said, I cannot be body shaming myself. I have to accept myself 100%, embrace who I am 100%, because if I don't do that, that means that I'm not loving myself unconditionally, and I can't show up as my authentic self if I do not accept my authentic self 100%. So with that, that's what I wanted to talk about this week, is body positivity, because we know it can be so difficult, especially nowadays. Like, there is so much more influences, whether, and they can be positive or negative, right? But the gym industry has really like skyrocketed. And so you have a lot of creators that are posting and talking, and it could be positive. I found some that I love to follow, some that, have given me tips. I've learned different recipes from, but there's also non-realistic expectations. And so I thought this be a good topic to talk about because I went through it, right? So all I want to do is help you understand that embracing yourself 100% and being in love with yourself is what's going to set you free. So let's talk about it. So what is it? What is body positivity? At its core, body positivity is about accepting and appreciating our bodies as they are. Nothing more. It's embracing our uniqueness, embracing how we look, embracing where we're at, embracing that, hey, you know what, this is how the Lord made me. For me, it was embracing that one of my legs is shorter than the other, and that I don't walk like everybody else. For you, it could be like you have a difficult time with, I don't know, a mole on your face, or even your weight, or you have something about you that you don't like, but we have to accept it. Nothing more. Just accept it. And if you can change it, try to, but accepting yourself 100% and your body as it is very important. And this can be difficult because I feel like the media, TV, movies, commercials, everything else has conditioned us to have this perspective about beauty that is unrealistic. I'm so happy that now, like Victoria's Secrets and all these other companies that sell female products or male products are now embracing the fact that everybody has a different body type. But it took a long time, because I remember when I was growing up, like even the Disney princesses that we watched on the shows that we watched, they all were skinny or tall or had this specific body type. Victoria's Secret models had a specific body type, and if you haven't watched it, you should go watch that documentary about that. But for a very long time, we have been conditioned about what beauty looks like, what it means to be perfect, and have formed these unrealistic perceptions about our bodies. When in reality, you should remember that everybody is different. That's why embracing your uniqueness is very important here. So the other thing that I wanted to tell you is that all bodies are beautiful and worthy of love and respect. All bodies. There is not one person here on earth that you should guilt, shame, or talk bad about or make fun of, because all bodies are beautiful and deserve respect and love. So I used to hate my body growing up because of, like I shared, one of my legs is shorter than the other. So, because I walk a little bit different, you can imagine that in high school, and I've said it here before, and in school growing up, people made fun of me. Kids would laugh and say, "What's wrong with her?" People stare out in the street still. And for me, that took a lot, because I'm like, man, why can't people just love me for me? I thought I was never going to have a boyfriend, because I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm not like everybody else. I'm just going to be left behind and nothing. But in reality, once I did accept my uniqueness, I started to use it to spread positivity. So once I accepted it, the people that would bully me, it wouldn't hurt as much. Obviously, like, it kind of still stinged a little bit, but I knew who I was, and I knew that just because I had a leg shorter than the other, and excuse me, and I walk a little bit different, doesn't mean that I don't belong in the world, right? And because of my one flaw, I kept myself hidden for a long time. From my one flaw, I kept myself very boxed into this identity of, like, you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, you're never gonna have love, you're never gonna have a boyfriend, you're never gonna have to get to experience that, nobody's ever gonna be with you. And so I started forming these identities and these negative affirmations of myself because I was different. So I started to work on myself, right? And being authentic and just being myself, and having my personality out there, and getting out and talking to people, and just realizing that I could still make friends and try to date or whatever, really brought out a big joy in my life. Because the moment that I accepted it, I said, how can I use this to, one, stand out, and two, bring positivity to everybody else? So I wanted to share a story. There was this girl that I work with that shared that her niece is kind of like me. And so she said that she always tells her about me because I'm so confident, and I embraced it, right? And it was just beautiful to hear that, hey, you know what? I'm an inspiration for some, and so that's what I want to do with it. I almost had a surgery to fix it, but I didn't, because the Lord told me, like, hey, I made you perfectly and wonderfully, and because I know how you are, you're going to use this to help the world. So here I am still with my leg, and now I talk about it more, because before I wouldn't talk about it either. I would actually make remarks and faces to people that asked me what happened. Not my brightest moments, right? But now I have embraced it, and I love it, and it's the number one thing that I always talk about when people tell me about their low self-esteem, or they come to me and ask, like, how are you so confident? It's like, I embrace myself 100%. Like, just because I have a different leg length and walk a little bit different doesn't mean that I don't get to show up in the world and take my space in it, right? So, what did I start to do to get to this point? To be at 100% in love with myself, even with my difference, my uniqueness. So, the one thing that I started to do, and I caught this on very early, was my media consumption. Like, I became aware of the things that I was watching, the things that I was focused on, and who I was comparing myself to. So I took that out of my sight, out of sight, out of mind, right? So I filtered, and even today on TikTok, Instagram, whatever, if I am looking for something, I'm very specific on who I follow, because think about it, what you consume, you are. So being aware of what you're watching, what you're following, is very important for your mental health. So be very careful on who you follow and do a cleanse. I know that I took some time off of social media, and it was amazing because I could focus on my goals and I could focus on rediscovering who I am at this exact moment. So that was the very first thing. I filtered my media. I stopped, following people that I was comparing myself to, and until I'm healed, until I'm able to be positive about everything about myself, I can go back and follow those people because they did have great content, but I stopped. The other thing that I started to do was I stopped being so self-critical. Like, instead of saying I'm not where I need to be yet, I am working very hard to be intentional about using uplifting words, such like, you're beautiful, you're working very hard, and it will soon pay off, and you are wonderfully and beautifully made by the Lord, right? So another thing that I do now is, I was on a call with one of my mindset mentor, and he said, do you have a morning thing where you wake up every morning and you do that exact thing to get you into the state of happiness? And I said, no, not yet. And I was journaling through it, and there's this song that I love. I don't know if you guys know who Forrest Frank is, but he has this specific song that's called Always. And the chorus of it is amazing. So I actually started singing that over myself in the mirror every single morning. And to get you guys some perspective, it's the lyrics are, you are loved, you are chosen, your body isn't broken, for every door that closes, a better one gets open. You got a light inside, too radiant to hide. If you don't think so, let me change your mind. Wherever you go, wherever you stay, don't you forget that love is always coming your way. So I am constantly, every single day, just saying that over myself. I even say it like out loud sometimes when I'm walking. And so that has changed my perspective on a lot of things, right? Because that's truth. I'm not broken. If the Lord decides to close a door, he'll open a better one. I'm chosen for this, such a time as this. And so that's given me, like, look, I'm already cheesing. That's given me so much joy in my life and has changed my perspective. So, start talking nice to yourself. Like, I'm pretty sure most of y'all wouldn't go to your best friend and say, ugh, girl, you got to change your hair. That's not working. Or, you're a little bit too big. You have to go and lose some weight. Start talking to yourself how you would talk to the people that you love. And it makes a big difference because you start to love yourself how you love other people, and start showing up for yourself how you show up for others. So really, really take the time to dive into this and find positive affirmations. Talk that over yourself every single day at any type of moment. Another thing that I started to do was, when I get insecure or I get anxiety or I don't want to do a certain thing around people. So I was at an airport 2 weeks ago because I went to Houston, and I was stuck there for 24 hours. It wasn't fun, but I embraced the challenge. And so I kept moving gates. And obviously there was a bunch of other flights being canceled, so there was 1,000 people in that airport. And I'm like, all right, cool. I went to go grab some food, and I wanted to sit down and like eat it, right? But my gate was full, and so I walked around a little bit to look if in another gate there was a chair, and there was, but there was two girls sitting here, and there was two chairs here, and I like peeped it on the side of my eye as I was walking by, and I'm like, no, there's people there. And then I caught myself and I said, Abril, take your space in the world. It's okay. And I forced myself to come back and sit there. And I talked to the girls and I got their contacts. And I made new friends. So, what can you say to yourself? How can you reframe your thinking so that you're positive and confident and love yourself 100%, right? So that's number 2. Number 3 is I celebrate my body's abilities. So every time I am in the gym, I'm like, wow, I'm actually in the gym today. It is a blessing. It is amazing that I'm even able to be here in this gym. Every time I hit a new PR, a personal record with lifting weights, I'm like, I did the thing. I cannot believe I just lifted 10 pounds over what my original weight was. I celebrate everything that I do because it makes me feel so fulfilled. It makes me feel confident. It makes me feel proud of myself, even if others are not proud of me. I am my biggest cheerleader. Literally, like nobody can tell me I can't do something because I know I can. I also started to run. So that was another big accomplishment for me because with my leg growing up, everybody told me like, hey girlie, like you're not going to be able to do X, Y, and Z. And running is one of them because of the way that they thought it was my hip with my leg. And the B5 on my back was messed up. So they were like, you're not going to be able to do a lot of running. Like you have to be careful. You can't be doing like extreme sports per se. Another challenge that I'm about to get into is rock climbing. So if you guys have any tips about rock climbing, let me know. But I'm so excited about that. But running, right? I started to do 5Ks with my husband because he got into runnings too. And he said, hey, let's do some 5Ks together as a family. And I said, maybe. I was hesitant at first because I was like, what if I get hurt? What if this? What if that? Like your mind will always go into safety. Like your mind will always go into comfort. So you have to take initiative and be aware and do it intentionally where you go out of your comfort zones. And so that's what I did. I'm like, all right, cool, let's do it. So I've done 3 5Ks with him so far. And just this past May, I did my first one with obstacles and I finished. Did it take me an hour and a half? Yes, it did. But I didn't. I finished. I came through. I crossed that finish line, got my medal, and I said, wow, I did it. I did some obstacles. I was doing some army stuff like this, some weight stuff like that, and I went over some boards. I climbed over some sand, like all of these things that I didn't think I could do because I was scared that I would get hurt. I ended up doing. So celebrate every win. Celebrate anything that you're able to do because it brings back so much fulfillment. It brings you so much inspiration. So like I said, from the 5Ks, I'm like, well, now I'm gonna do rock climbing. Am I gonna be perfect at it? No, but I want to do it. And so I'm getting a group together. We're gonna go rock climbing, and it's gonna be amazing. So just celebrate yourself, celebrate your wins, celebrate your abilities because you are capable of so much. And the fourth thing is change your clothes. Like change your perception of yourself. My mindset mentor called it making a new identity. And for me, I could understand the concept, but I'm 100% of who I'm supposed to be in Christ. And so having an alter ego for me means that I'm stepping out of that. So if it works for you, I know great people that have created alter egos. Kobe did it. A bunch of the athletes that, work out and stuff, like have done it. Beyonce, like with the Sasha Fierce thing. Let's see who else. There's these different people that I've listened to that said that like I had to create a new identity because if I wasn't in that, then all of these other things would pop up. And so if that works for you, great. But for me, I'm like, no, I'm going to focus on being myself 100%. I'm like, just be here, who I am in Christ, nothing else. But you can change your clothes, you can change your hair, you can change, your image. So I started to do that. So how I started to do that was gradually, because I grew up with mostly boys, and me and my sister never really like got into the girly stuff or learned about that, or like, I don't know, in Mexico it was very different because we had to wear uniforms and we couldn't express ourselves through clothing or like the way that we dress up. And so when we came to the US, we saw that they didn't have no uniforms. Everybody could wear whatever. And we learned about brands, and about, at the time, Aeropostale, Hollister, American Eagle, The Gap, Paxson. All of those things were a thing, and we're like, that's expensive, we can't afford that, so whatever. So growing up, being, in the household we were in, it was difficult for us to like have all that stuff. And so I was already very shy. I was a shy kid. I was bullied. I did not want to talk to anybody. I did not want to be seen. So I would wear my hair in a ponytail every single day. Literally, like the same, like this. I think it was like this, like the same hairstyle all the time. Yeah, this right here. And I would never let my hair down. I would never curl it. I would never crimp it. I would never do anything with it. I would never style it. I would never get a haircut to like change it up a little bit. My clothes were not as bright. I did not wear tight clothes. I did not wear comfortable. Like, it was just a different thing. I never got my nails done. I never knew about makeup. I didn't grow up knowing all of that, because our goal was not to look good. It was to show up to work and help our family out. So with that, going into school, I feel like a lot of people were like, well, why don't you change this, and why don't you change that? And it took me a long time to fully accept myself, because I kept comparing myself to other people, like to other girls. It's like, wow, that's she's the it girl. Like, I need to hang out with her. So as I've learned to heal and started to get away from my safety net over the years, I've started to realize that I love clothing. Like, I love fashionistas, so that's what I'm following right now, is fashionistas, like, that style their clothes, not just wear it. So like, there's a difference, and I'm learning all about like the different shades of makeup and stuff and how to do it. I'm learning about how to be a DIY girly with nails, so like press-ons. I'm learning just little things that I want to change, that I want to implement, so that I am feeling like, looking like how I'm feeling, right? Because that's another thing. If you dress well, if you look good, if you feel good, you're gonna keep looking good. So I want to encourage you to change your image a little bit, not in a negative way, but like, wear different types of shoes, wear a different type of shirt that you haven't worn before. And if you're not comfortable with it, that's okay. Change it and find something that you're like, wow, okay, I can really rock this, and start building your confidence off of that. Because let me tell you, I've been showing up to work. I'm a corporate girly, so I've been showing up to work there, business casual is the attire. So I'm like, all right, cool. I went out and bought some nice jeans and some nice pants and some nice like shirts to like just kind of match up and look good and feel good, right? And I wasn't there, like I said, I wasn't there before. And the person that helped me with my confidence at first was my bestie of forever ago. I think I've met her in 2005. So if you do the math, that's how long we've been friends for. And she's my childhood best friend, and she's the one that helped me build my confidence. She's the one that talked to me first. She was the one that said, like, you can do this. She actually taught me how to shave, and that's a beautiful story for another time. But we were hanging out in the summertime, and she just kind of noticed, right, my legs were a little prickly, and she said, do you want me to help you with that? And I was like, sure. And she grabbed a razor and said, like, okay, you use this, and you use some shaving cream if you want, or you can use some soap. And she literally did it right there. I was like, oh my God. And even talking about it now, it brings me so much joy because she did that. She showed up for me in so many unconditional ways and helped me, with my hair, with my dressing, with everything else. And it's just amazing to have those type of people in your life. So if you do have somebody that's your best friend or very close to you and you want to say, hey, I'm not feeling the greatest about myself. What do you think I should change? What colors do you think I should wear? How, what pant styles should I wear? My friends are telling me I should retire skinny jeans. Millennial here, yeah. My friends are like, retire skinny jeans. And I'm like, all right, cool. So now I'm starting to do that. So also be vulnerable with the people around you that you trust. Be vulnerable with those that you think are going to help you, because it is amazing. And I will never forget my best friend for always showing up for me. And it's amazing how I've learned to love lashes. I've learned to dress up and be myself. And it just brings so much joy that I'm like, oh, I'm rocking the thing. It's just different, right? So start building your confidence with that. And as always, my Bible verse of the week, right? So the Bible verse of the week this week is in Ephesians 2:10. And it says, for we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us. This verse emphasizes that we are created by God with intention and purpose, highlighting the importance of valuing and embracing ourselves, including our bodies as a part of God's beautiful creation. Let's read that again. All right? For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do. God's handiwork. That means that he took his time with us. That means he, decided that you were going to be like this exactly. He knows exactly how many hairs are on your head. Like, wow, we are God's handiwork. And he's already prepared stuff for us to do in advance. So whatever dream you have, whatever purpose, whatever it is, like, go after it. Build up your confidence to do so. Embrace yourself 100%. Because that's what the Lord wants you to do. That's what we were created to do. And he loves you so much, right, that he will make it happen, right? So let's start promoting body acceptance. Let's start, challenging the social pressures and embracing our unique selves. And together we can create a more inclusive and positive environment for everyone. I hope that you found some value in this episode. And if you did, please share it, like, and subscribe. Leave me comments. I always say that word of mouth is the best way to grow. So if you found it interesting, put it on your stories. Tag me in it at Kingdom Culture Podcast. And I'll leave my links below. But don't forget that I love you, but that the Lord loves you more. Always, always, always. And we'll see you guys next week.